Have you ever felt that sudden shift? One day he's texting good morning, checking in, laughing at your stories, and the next, it's quiet. No texts, no calls, just silence. And in that silence, your mind starts spinning. Did I say something wrong? Is he losing interest? Was everything just in my head? But what if, hear me out, what if that silence isn't rejection? What if it's actually the sound of him falling deeper in love? Because sometimes when a man's emotions start to grow stronger than he expected, he doesn't know what to do with them. He doesn't know how to say, "You're getting under my skin," or "You make me feel something real." So instead he goes quiet, not because he's gone, but because he's feeling. You see, men are often taught to control emotions, not express them. So when love begins to hit deeper layers, vulnerability, fear, attachment, his instinct isn't to talk, it's to retreat, not away from you, but into himself. And that's the moment most women misread. That's when overthinking starts to replace understanding. But in this video, I'm going to show you how to recognize the difference between a man losing interest and a man falling in love so deeply that it scares him. Because silence doesn't always mean distance. Sometimes it's the quiet before love finally speaks. When it comes to emotions, men and women are often speaking two completely different languages, not because they want to, but because they were taught to. From a young age, many men are conditioned to believe that strength means silence, that vulnerability means weakness, and that showing too much emotion could make them seem less in control. So when they grow up and begin to feel something powerful, like love, it doesn't always flow out naturally. It builds up quietly, under the surface. Most men process love, not through words, but through actions and internal reflection. When a woman feels close, she often wants to express it, to talk about it, to connect emotionally. But when a man feels that same depth, his instinct is to slow down and make sense of it first. It's like his emotions are moving faster than his logic can keep up, and he needs to pull back just long enough to regain his balance. That's why sometimes you'll notice a shift right after an intimate moment, a deep conversation, or a time when he's opened up. He might seem more distant, not because he regrets the connection, but because his mind is trying to understand it. He's processing questions like, can I trust this feeling? Is this safe? Am I ready for what this could become? This emotional reset isn't rejection, it's regulation. It's his way of making sure he doesn't mess up something that actually matters to him. And the truth is, when men start to fall deeply in love, the fear of losing control over their emotions can feel overwhelming. They might retreat not to escape the relationship, but to protect it, to come back more grounded, more certain, more ready. So when his silence appears, don't rush to fill it with worry. That pause might be the very moment he's realizing you're not just another connection, you're the connection that makes him feel something real. Because sometimes what looks like distance is really the beginning of emotional depth. When a man begins to truly fall in love, something shifts inside him. At first, everything feels exciting. Effortless conversations, shared laughter, that magnetic pull that keeps drawing him closer. He's comfortable, confident, and curious. But then, right when it starts feeling too real, that's when he often pulls away. And it's not because he doesn't care, it's because he cares more than he expected to. Falling in love threatens the control he's built his entire identity around. You see, most men are taught to move through life with certainty, to fix things, plan things, and stay one step ahead. Love doesn't work like that. Love disrupts certainty. It invites vulnerability. It opens doors he's kept locked. And suddenly, his emotions are no longer something he can manage. They're something he feels deeply, unpredictably, intensely. When a man starts to realize that you matter, that you could actually hurt him, that he's emotionally invested, a part of him panics. It's like standing on the edge of a cliff. He wants to leap, but he's terrified of what happens if he falls. So he does the only thing that feels safe in that moment. He steps back. He pulls away, not to end the connection, but to breathe, to test the ground beneath his feet. You might notice him becoming quieter, less responsive, maybe even distant. But what's really happening is an internal storm, a tug of war between his heart and his fear. One voice says, "She's special, don't lose her." The other whispers, "Be careful, Don't get hurt again. And here's the truth most people miss. When he pulls away, he's not rejecting you. He's confronting himself. He's facing old wounds, past disappointments, and the parts of him that never learned how to feel safe in love. This retreat often looks cold, but it's actually a defense mechanism. He's recalibrating his emotions, testing the strength of his feelings, and trying to decide if he can trust this, if he can trust you. And when a man feels safe enough to return, when he realizes that your patience, your calm, and your authenticity didn't fade when he needed space, that's when something changes in him. That's when love starts to root itself deeper than before. So instead of chasing or panicking, the best thing you can do is stay centered. Don't try to convince him of your worth. Embody it, because real love doesn't chase what's pulling away. It holds space for what's finding its way back. When he pulls away, it's not the end of love's story. Sometimes it's the moment he realizes this isn't just another connection. It's the one he can't walk away from. Sometimes when a man is truly falling for you, it doesn't show up in the big dramatic gestures we expect. It hides in the in-between moments. The quiet details, the unspoken cues, the subtle ways he lets you into his world. Love for many men isn't loud, it's layered, and the signs are often easy to overlook if you're only listening for words. One of the first hidden signs is consistency disguised as routine. He might not send long poetic messages, but he checks in, even if it's brief. He shows up in small ways that tell you, I'm here. Maybe it's a text after a long day just to ask if you made it home safe, or remembering the little things you said weeks ago. Those moments are emotional breadcrumbs, proof that you're occupying space in his mind even when he's not saying much. Another sign he pays attention when you think he's not. You'll notice it when he recalls the exact way you like your coffee, or when he mirrors your tone in a conversation. These small reflections aren't accidents. They're subconscious ways of syncing with you emotionally. He's trying, often quietly, to understand your rhythm, to make your world familiar to him. When a man starts inviting you into his personal space, his thoughts, his habits, his routines, that's intimacy. Maybe he asks your opinion on something important, or lets you see a side of him that's less polished, less controlled. It could be him sharing a childhood story, admitting a fear, or letting you witness his silence without trying to fill it. These are moments of trust, and they say far more than I love you ever could. Pay attention too to how he reacts when you pull back. If he reaches out a little more, checks in just to see how you are, or simply seems uneasy with distance, that's not neediness. That's emotional investment revealing itself in real time. A man who doesn't care won't notice your absence. A man who's falling will feel it. And here's one of the biggest hidden signs. He begins to adapt. He shifts small parts of his life to include you, rearranging plans, making space in his schedule, or changing subtle habits because he's considering you in his choices. When a man starts doing that without being asked, he's no longer just interested, he's emotionally connected. So if his words don't always match his actions, look deeper. Men often love in ways that are quiet but steady, subtle but sincere. What seems like detachment might actually be his version of devotion. Because real love doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it hides in the simplest gestures, the ones that whisper, I'm here, even when I don't say it. When he starts to seem distant, the instinct to panic is almost automatic. You feel that ache, that quiet fear that maybe you're losing him, that maybe something's changed. Your mind begins to replay every conversation, every text, searching for the moment it went wrong. But before you spiral into overthinking, I want you to pause, because how you respond in this moment matters more than you realize. When a man pulls away, it's rarely because he wants to hurt you. It's usually because something inside him feels heavy. Emotions, responsibilities, confusion, and he doesn't yet know how to handle it. If you rush toward him with anxiety, questions, or pressure, his instinctive reaction will be to retreat further. But if you create emotional space, calm, open, grounded, you give him something he doesn't even know he needs: safety. Start by staying present in your own energy. Don't chase validation through his attention. Instead, focus on alignment, your peace, your passions, your sense of self. When he senses that you're centered and not unraveling, it subconsciously tells him she's not another source of pressure, she's peace. And that energy, it pulls him back more effectively than any text ever could. Next, communicate with softness, not demand. A simple message like, "Hey, I've noticed you've been quiet lately. Just wanted to check in and let you know I'm here. If you need space or support," carries strength wrapped in compassion. It shows awareness without accusation. It opens the door but doesn't push him through it. Give him time to step forward. Real connection doesn't grow in pressure. It grows in presence. And if his distance lingers longer than you'd like, resist the urge to chase clarity through confrontation. Sometimes silence is not about you. It's about the battles he's fighting in his own mind. But here's the balance. Giving space doesn't mean shrinking yourself. Don't silence your needs to keep someone close. Instead, quietly observe his effort when the space closes. Does he return with intention? Does he make it known you still matter? Because love without effort becomes imbalance, and your peace deserves partnership, not confusion. Responding to distance with emotional maturity is powerful. It says, "I can care deeply, but I won't lose myself trying to be chosen," and that is magnetic energy. That's what makes a man realize he's not just losing attention, he's risking the presence of a woman who understands connection on a deeper level. So when he seems distant, don't chase his silence, anchor yourself in calm. Because if he's truly falling in love, your stability will be the light that guides him back, not your fear that pushes him away. There's a thin line between a man losing interest and a man falling deeper in love. And if you don't know how to read it, they can look almost identical. He becomes quieter. He texts less. He seems distracted, distant, harder to reach. To your heart, it feels like he's slipping away. But the truth is, sometimes what feels like disconnection is actually transformation. When a man is losing interest, there's a gradual detachment, not just from you, but from connection itself. You'll notice his energy fade. Conversations start to feel forced. He stops showing curiosity about your world. He becomes present in words, but absent in spirit. It's as if his heart has quietly left the room before his body has. When this happens, no amount of chasing or convincing can reignite that spark, because love can't be forced into existence once it's emotionally checked out. But when a man is falling deeper, his silence feels different. There's still warmth underneath it, an invisible thread that keeps pulling him back to you even when he steps away. He might seem quieter, yes, but there's intention in his absence. He's not avoiding you. He's processing you. He's trying to make sense of emotions that feel bigger than the logic he's used to. You'll see it in the way he looks at you, not as someone he's losing interest in, but as someone he's trying to understand. His withdrawal isn't apathy, it's awareness, a moment of emotional recalibration before he steps into something deeper. Another difference lies in effort. A man losing interest won't circle back. His communication fades, his consistency breaks. But a man falling deeper will return. Maybe not immediately, but he'll find his way back, with small gestures that say, "I was thinking of you." It might be a random text, a question about your day, or an invitation to see you again. Those small returns are love signals, proof that even in his quiet, he's still connected. Energy never lies. If you pay attention to how you feel in his presence, you'll know the truth. When someone is losing interest, your intuition feels drained, like you're reaching for something that keeps slipping away. But when he's falling deeper, even the silence feels alive, filled with unspoken emotion, tension, curiosity, and potential. The key is not to react from fear, but to respond from awareness. Don't chase the version of him you miss. Observe the version that's emerging. Because real love doesn't fade, it evolves. Sometimes the distance you fear isn't the end of something beautiful. It's just the space love needs to grow stronger roots. When he enters his quiet phase, your heart will feel the shift before your mind can explain it. The rhythm changes, texts slow down, his energy feels distant, and the connection that once felt effortless now feels uncertain. It's in that silence that your emotions begin to whisper the loudest. What did I do wrong? Did something change? Is he pulling away for good? But here's the truth. His quiet phase isn't always a reflection of your worth. It's often a reflection of his process. Men experience emotional overload differently. When feelings deepen, their instinct isn't to talk it out. It's to retreat inward and find balance before expressing it. He's not ignoring you. He's digesting what this connection means, trying to understand if he's ready for what comes next. So what do? The answer isn't to chase his silence, it's to respect it. Let the space breathe. When you stop trying to fill every gap with conversation, you give him the emotional room to miss you. Silence, when met with patience, becomes an amplifier. It makes him realize how peaceful your presence feels when you're not demanding his attention. Use this phase to pour back into yourself. Do the things that remind you of your own wholeness. Reconnect with your friends. Nurture your goals. Spend time in activities that light you up. Energy is magnetic, and when he senses you're still standing strong, still centered, still you, it draws him back with even greater admiration. Because what men often fear is not love, it's losing themselves in it. And when you show him that your world doesn't crumble in his silence, you become a safe place, not a source of pressure. If you feel the need to reach out, do it with warmth, not worry. A simple message like, "I hope everything's okay. Just wanted to remind you that I'm here when you're ready," is more powerful than a flood of questions. It says I care, but I'm not chasing. That balance, compassion without clinginess, is rare, and it earns respect far deeper than any words could. During his quiet phase, trust what's real. If the connection is genuine, he will return, clearer, softer, more certain. And if he doesn't, the silence will have done you a favor by showing you where his limits truly are. Either way, you win, because you stayed aligned with your peace, instead of reacting from fear. Remember, silence isn't always the absence of love. Sometimes it's the pause before it finds the courage to speak again. Rebuilding connection after distance isn't about grand gestures or perfect words. It's about energy. It's about the quiet, consistent choices that remind both of you what brought you together in the first place. When a man has pulled away and starts to return, the space between you becomes fragile, like glass. One wrong move, and it can crack under pressure. But handled with patience and emotional awareness, that space can become the bridge that reconnects you even stronger than before. The first step is not to rush the reconnection. When he comes back, resist the urge to demand explanations or emotional clarity right away. Instead, welcome him with calm curiosity. Let the tone be light, not heavy. Remember, he's returning because he feels safe enough to, so your energy should affirm that safety. A simple smile, a gentle tone, a "Hey, it's good to hear from you," does more to rebuild attraction than a flood of questions ever could. Next, rebuild through shared experiences, not just words. Go back to the simple moments, laughter, presence, eye contact. Emotional attraction thrives not in analysis, but in ease. The more you can create moments that feel natural, the more he'll subconsciously associate you with peace and joy, not pressure or conflict. When reconnecting, mirror his pace but maintain your boundaries. Don't bend yourself just to keep him close. Let him see that you can love fully, without losing your sense of self. That balance, softness with strength, is magnetic. It tells him, "I'm here because I choose to be, not because I need to be." As emotional attraction rebuilds, subtle signals will return. He'll start initiating conversations again, making plans, showing curiosity about your world. You'll notice his tone shift, lighter, warmer, more open. This is where trust begins to quietly regrow. And here's the secret. The more you respond with calm confidence, rather than emotional urgency, the faster that connection strengthens. Rebuilding connection is really about rebuilding emotional safety. A man opens up when he feels accepted in his imperfection, when he senses you're not measuring his worth by constant attention, but by genuine presence. The connection becomes deeper when he realizes he can breathe around you, that he doesn't have to perform, prove, or protect himself from judgment. And as that emotional safety returns, attraction naturally reignites. Because attraction isn't only about looks or chemistry. It's about how someone makes you feel. When he starts to associate you with understanding, warmth, and peace, his heart moves closer even before his words do. Rebuilding connection isn't about going back to what was. It's about creating something stronger from what you've both learned. And when love rebuilds from awareness instead of fear, it doesn't just return, it deepens. At the end of it all, Love isn't about constant communication, endless reassurance, or chasing connection. It's about understanding the rhythm of two hearts, learning how to move together, sometimes close, sometimes apart, but always in sync in the moments that truly matter. If he's distant, if he's quiet, if his emotions confuse you, don't rush to label it as rejection. Sometimes the most meaningful love stories have quiet chapters. The silence isn't always the end. Sometimes it's the space love needs to breathe, to grow, to find its balance again. You see, real love isn't linear. It expands, it contracts, it tests your patience, and it teaches you emotional intelligence in ways no book ever could. The distance that once felt like disconnection often becomes the bridge to deeper understanding, if you let it. Your role isn't to fix him or chase him. Your role is to remain rooted in your own calm, to know that your worth doesn't shrink just because someone takes a moment to step back. When you can hold space, not from fear, but from confidence, that's when love begins to transform. Because men fall in love differently. They fall through moments of safety, through the energy of acceptance, through the realization that they can be fully themselves and still be chosen. And when he feels you, he'll always find his way back. So my advice to you is simple. Stay grounded in your peace. Don't overthink the silence. Don't chase clarity from confusion. Trust that what's meant for you won't need to be forced. It will align naturally when both hearts are ready. And if you're listening to this right now, take a deep breath. You are not being ignored. You are being seen, even in the quiet. Sometimes the space between words is exactly where love is learning how to speak.